Hi, this is Dana Harris Seeger. Welcome to my studio at Visual Philosophy. Today's prompt, actually I have a couple prompts today, but the first prompt is going to be about layering over previous artwork. So a lot of times as an artist, particularly a printmaker, I create pieces and I don't always either know what to do with them. They don't seem like they are finished pieces in themselves. Maybe they were part of a series, but they just don't either fit with the edition, or I just didn't quite feel like they had enough going on. But I save them anyway because some parts of them I enjoy or I know that I want to use later. So for this prompt, I want you to take out some pieces that maybe you put in a drawer, maybe you didn't quite like them, how they ended up. Take them out and paint over them. This could be in a palette that's totally different than the palette that you started with. For instance, in this piece I'm working on, I started with a pale kind of blue and gold palette, and I put with very representational imagery, and I layered over it with some very dark gray and black in brush strokes that are more abstracted, because I just wanted to give it a different feeling. I wasn't happy with the way that the print was going, but of course I didn't throw it away or didn't discard it, because I like to be able to reuse these, whether that's for collage or for painting over it, creating something new. I added some transparent matte medium so that some of the image does show through underneath. But just try to take something that you previously created and paint over it. Or you can collage over it. Do something over the top of it. I will probably come back to this one in a later one, but for now I'm just working on covering over the previous image with some acrylic paint. Using colors that I might not previously have thought of or used in the original artwork is also a possibility. It's freeing, because if you're painting over it, you don't have to worry so much about how it's going to end up, because you didn't really like it to begin with. So don't be afraid to just go for it. So in this one, for the next prompt, again, I took a piece that I wasn't totally happy with. I'm painting over it, but I'm using more texture, I'm using more line work, and a little bit more transparency. I'm also using colors that I wouldn't normally use, which is prompt number 2. So you can do this on the same piece, or you can start a new piece, but think about adding a color to your palette that you wouldn't normally reach for. And I like doing this because it mixes it up and sometimes I can get kind of stale or formulaic if I'm using the same colors over and over again. So adding just one extra color that I wouldn't normally put on, such as this bright pink, this sort of magenta color, mixes it up and gets me out of my comfort zone. Maybe I'll use it again, maybe I won't. But the point is that it's not precious. It doesn't really matter because the print or the piece that I'm working on, I wasn't happy with, or I wasn't finished with anyway. So I'm not afraid to kind of just go for it. So now I'm using some white. I have some gray, which I gravitate towards a lot. And then the last prompt is to use a different material or medium on the same piece that you wouldn't normally use. So here I've got printmaking, I've got acrylic paint, and I reached for my Posca markers, which I don't usually add to pieces like this, but it gives it a little bit more of a graphic quality. And I'm creating more stylized marks that add a little bit of interest to the representational screen prints, that little etching of the viewfinder, and the soft brush strokes of the acrylic paint. So a material that you wouldn't normally kind of use in the same piece, try reaching for that and adding that to your art. And I hope that gives you a little bit of a boost, a creative insight, something different that you can try. Gets you out of your formula, maybe out of a funk, maybe just gives you an excuse to try something new.